Ready? Hello YouTubers, welcome to another episode of the vlogs. Cam and Yam here. This week we're going to be taking you through the entire training week for me this week. But why this week in particular, you may ask? Well, as you can probably tell from the title, this week is going to be the biggest training week I have ever done. But before we get into the training sessions themselves and get onto this gorgeous water behind us, I'm going to chat a little bit about the program this week and what it's going to entail. And we've made it to the ambulance to discuss what the program this week will entail. And to do so, we're going to use a little bit of a visual aid. We've got our schedule for the week right here, and what we're going to do is just basically go through the entire week and write down what we have. So Monday is going to be a lovely steady day. So green for steady, 16 kilometers, probably on the water, and then we'll go for a 16k erg probably later in the afternoon. Nice and chilled sessions for these one. On Tuesday, we're going to have another lovely steady day, but we're bringing out the blue pen for a reason, because we're going to try and go for a Scottish Loch adventure. And so hopefully, if the weather lets us, we're going to go up a little more north than Strathclyde Park and do some lovely distance on the water on a Scottish Loch, hopefully around 36 kilometers. On Wednesday, we're going to go for some weights to start off the day, so first weight session of the week, and then we're going to go for another steady session, but this time we're going to up the mileage for 20k on the water, and then for the second session on the water, so third session of the day, first red pen session, we're going to get 14k roughly on the water with 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off, times 10, times 2 for an absolutely delightful session. Hopefully we get some friends to do that with to make it even more fun. Heading on to Thursday for another 3-session day. We're going to start off the day with weights one more time, and then heading through the day we've got 2 more sessions to go. We're going to go for a little bit of a shorter on the water session, so 16 kilometers, and then bumping up the mileage a little bit more, 18k, probably on the erg later in the afternoon. Heading on to Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 3 big volume days planned. We're going to go for Friday, probably away from Strathclyde Park, a little bit of variation there, so we're going to go for 24k on the ergometer, on the erg machine, and then adding to that mileage we're going to go 16k, so a lovely 40k day there, nice and steady, away from Strathclyde Park, both on the erg, so it means that we can do other stuff around training as well. So then heading on to Saturday, we're bringing out the red pen once more. We're going to try and do 14 kilometers on the water with 4x1k in those 14k, so that'll be pretty tough. And then hopefully, if we can, we'll bring out the green pen and then do another session in the schedule of the Saturday morning Strathclyde Park sessions. So trying to fit in 14 kilometers, and then rounding up the day to equal the Friday's mileage, we'll probably have to do roughly a 12k on the erg later in the afternoon, depending if we can get that 14k in second session. On Sunday, no pieces, so we'll probably bump up the volume on the first session and then try and just do 2 sessions instead of 3 on Sunday. So 24k is the plan to fit in that first session here, and then later on in the day trying to bump up the volume once more to equal Friday and Saturday, so probably a 16k erg later on in the afternoon. So that is the schedule. This is the plan for this week. If my quick maths are correct, this should all total over 250k. Let me know in the comments below if you agree. But as you can see, lots of volume, lots of steady volume, because when the volume is so high, it can be really hard to do much intensity. It is possible, but you really have to pay attention to what your aims are and what your body can actually do. So it'll be really interesting through the week how I do respond to this training. Previously, in the last part of the training block, I've been building up the mileage anyway, so this shouldn't be a big shock for my body, because last week was a 200 plus K week, and the week before that was 200 plus K week. This week is just the biggest training week I've ever done at any club, anywhere. So it'll be really interesting to see what I do. But a couple of keys to actually survive the week is listen to my body for one. If I'm not feeling the sessions, if I want to do less, probably better to listen to myself. Or if I want to do more, might as well push on. And obviously recovery is hugely important. So making sure I fuel up, because remember, food is fuel, and I'm going to be burning close to 50,000 calories through the entire week. So I have to fuel myself up with 50,000 calories, and that is a lot of fuel. And also on the recovery side, making sure I'm sleeping enough so my body does get the recovery on top of the fueling. Oh yeah! Absolutely outrageous conditions here at Strathclyde Park this morning. As the programme suggests, 16k, nice and easy, chilled out paddle to start off the week, and what a way to start it off. That is the first session of the week complete. Check mark. 16 kilometers in the Lamborghini name yet to be determined in some amazing conditions out there on Strathclyde Park Loch. But now, what we have to do, wrap up the Lamborghini name yet to be determined, put it on the roof of the ambulance so we can go exploring in some Scottish lochs tomorrow and fuel up, because remember, food is fuel. And then I'm going to head to the supermarket to make sure I do have enough fuel for the rest of the week. So you get to come along with me to the supermarket to get some fuel. Oh yeah.
About to leave, already packing. Come with me, I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see the world in action, what we can be, life with no distractions. We'll get away, this is what we waited for. Take my hand, we'll make it somehow, we can't miss out. I'm done living life with the lights out, die with my own doubts. Be free with me. Let's go, let's be free with
And we've made it back into the ambulance. Going to just put the food away. But talking about the diet, especially going through this week, as you can probably tell, it's very carb heavy, because for me, it's more difficult to get enough carbs in my diet as a whole than it is for other things like protein or other nutrients. A lot of the protein parts of my diet that I would usually buy in the shop was not in stock today, unfortunately, so probably made it look even more carb heavy than usual, and I'll probably have to go to the shop again at some point through the week to top up on said protein parts of the diet. But I should have enough to tide me over until then. Now it's time to go do another session for the second session of Monday, chilled out day. We're on the rowing machine post-fueling up. We've got my biggest fan, we've got Netflix for a little bit of variation, and then we've got Jan behind me making sure I don't fall off during this 16 kilometres of nice, steady, light paddling to finish off the training day.
And a nice and relaxed 16 kilometres done to finish off the first day of training of the week. A lovely light day complete. Now on to tomorrow for a little bit of a Scottish Loch adventure. And we have reached Scottish Loch Adventure Day on day 2 of the training week. So we're off for a little bit of a drive to head north to some Scottish lochs, heading through some little northern villages here and there, and heading north to find some glassy flat water. But on the journey north, it's a road I've driven a few times now, we pass a loch heading to Loch Voil. Right here we're going past Loch Lubnaig. I pass this loch and I'm thinking to myself, well, it is flat, it's not too choppy, it's not too bad, but as you can see in this clip here, it's not glassy flat. And I was thinking, well, I'm driving all this way, I've got the Lamborghini name yet to be determined on the roof, so I might as well take the opportunity and get on the water. And just coming through these single track roads, heading to Loch Voil, on roads I've never travelled on, right here I remember my jaw just dropping. If we look to the left of the screen there and through the trees, wow, look at that water. Absolutely perfect, not a ripple to row on. And I just look at that. Just having a little drive round these single track roads again. And I'm just so excited to get the Lamborghini name yet to be determined off the roof and onto that water. Welcome to Loch Voil. Oh, it's cold. Oh, I really... And that is it for the Scottish Loch Adventure on day 2 of the biggest training week I have ever done. 2 sessions complete on Loch Voil, a 20k and a 16k for quick maths, 36k in total for today. Now it's time to get the Lamborghini name yet to be determined on the Yambulance, then fuel up, because remember, food is fuel, incredibly important during a big week or any week in general. And then we head on to day 3 of the training week. Wait's finished on day 3. Now to get the Lamborghini name yet to be determined off the roof of the ambulance and get on this lovely glass we have here at Strathclyde Park today. Oh yeah! I think this is one of my favourite things to see right now. I feel like it just looks very interesting. Now time to get on the water. What a day. What a pleasure to be out here on the water at Strathclyde Park. Some excellent water to row on, an absolute privilege. We've got Dale coming up so we can get some side-by-side rowing in just to make it a little bit more fun, even though it's already unbelievably great on this flat water today. Then we've got some lovely pieces to do, probably do them side-by-side with Dale again later on. So I'm just going to enjoy this water, enjoy the flat glass, and hopefully you do too. And that is day 3 complete on this week's training week, if my calculations are correct. 20k this morning, 14k this afternoon, means 34k for the day. Absolutely fantastic water this morning, not quite as lovely this afternoon, but been a pleasure paddling around all day today with Dale. When you've got a training partner, when you've got somebody to train with, whether it's on the rowing machine, whether it's on the water, or any other type of training, when you're not doing it by yourself, it's that little bit easier, especially when the water is like it is this morning. As you just saw on the Lamborghini name yet to be determined, there's some tape covering, unfortunately, some dents and some cracks in the paint, which happened last week or 2 weeks ago now. Unfortunately, a day similar to today, very nice and sort of a little bit overcast, but a big gust of wind came along. The Lamborghini name yet to be determined was sitting around about there, and just a gust came along and blew it off the trestles, causing dents and chips and damage to the shell. So unfortunately, it's going to be sent back to Hudson to get repaired, and unfortunately that means for the rest of the biggest training week that I've ever done, I'm not going to be able to row in the Lamborghini name yet to be determined. Fortunately, Edinburgh University are allowing me to borrow a boat very similar to mine, not quite the same size, but have to deal with the cards that we are given. So the Lamborghini name yet to be determined is going to be de-rigged, going to be put on the trailer for the Edinburgh University Boat Club. They're heading down to compete at the Head of the River Regatta this weekend down in London. And so that's going to be taken down south, repaired at Hudson, which is just outside London. And I'm going to pick it up on the way down to Italy next week. So bit of an unfortunate situation, but like I said, we deal with the cards we are dealt, and just I can't really do much about it but get it done. So looking forward to getting the Lamborghini name yet to be determined back once it's away, and that will be it for day 3 of the training week. That is 34 today, been pretty good so far. Let's get on to day 4. Another absolute stormer of a day on day 4 of the training week. Weight's done, now it's time to go enjoy this glass once more for the week. Oh, you. And we're on the water, another absolute stormer of the day. Unfortunately, not as glassy as it was before the session, but rowing is a rowing sport and we have to deal with the conditions that we are given, and it's not at all bad. We've got Cam for our training partner for this session. As always, a little bit of company during training makes everything easier. And of course, the Lamborghini name yet to be determined is not here. We're in the Castle Rock, one of Edinburgh University's Hudson Fleet. A little bit different than mine. But now let's finish off the session. Oh yeah. And that is us finished. Second session for today on the water in Castle Rock. And like I said, the boat is a little bit different. It's a different size versus the Lamborghini name yet to be determined. But like I said yesterday, we just have to deal with the cards we are dealt. Water, really nice. The actual session there, given it's day 4 of the training week, it felt really nice. Sometimes you can get to towards the end of the training week and be lagging a little bit. That felt comfortable. I was able to push and it wasn't like I was struggling for energy. So it's a good sign for the training week and my fitness, my energy levels, my fueling levels, my recovery levels. Doing well this week so far, but you also, or I also have to keep in the back of my mind, that session may have felt great, but given the next session is also a long one, I could easily have overdone that session because it felt good, and the next session I'll feel the fatigue kick in. But we can only find out in the future, so that's a future Yam squad to look forward to. Now time to fuel up, because remember, food is fuel, and just getting loads of carbs in prior to this next session. So let's get to it. And now we have fueled up. We've made it to Yam Squad HQ and it's time for a rowing machine workout. Similar to Monday's, nice and steady on the machine, putting Netflix on, just moving the legs, getting in the right heart rate zone to finish off day 4 of the training week. And we have finished off the lovely 18 kilometers on the rowing machine. A bit faster than Monday's workout. Again, like I mentioned earlier, we would see in this workout how things were feeling recovery wise, fueling wise, energy wise after the longer session this morning, especially, as I mentioned, heading into the latter half of this training week. Yam as well, keeping me company in the last stages of this erg, so managed it quite easily. Average heart rate of 132, so feeling good. Now it's on to tomorrow after a successful day 4 of the training week. Go on in. And we've made it out on the morning walk on day 5 of the training week. Today is going to be a similar day to Monday with a little bit more volume. Just nice and relaxed on the rowing machine, chilling out, having a day just to get a little bit of things done outside of training, but also getting good volume in. When you use the rowing machine, it can be really easy to be quite time efficient. So today will be 2 steady state, longer ergs. So let's get to the first one after this lovely walk on this lovely morning. And we have finished up the long ergo for this morning. So a lovely, just over 90 minutes. I was going to do 90 minutes, but then it was almost at 24k, so I thought I'll just push on or keep going for that little bit extra. Similar to yesterday, the long session this morning felt good, and now it's on to the next long session in the afternoon to see how my fueling is, how my recovery is. It's feeling good right now, so now, of course, as always after a session, we have to fuel up, because remember, food is fuel. And in order to do these long sessions over and over, you really have to keep on top of the fuel, like I said yesterday and before. On this erg, I actually just had the monitor down like so, and then just as I watched my watch get to 90 minutes, I then flicked up the monitor to see how much distance I'd done. Average heart rate 124, so really nice and chilled, feeling really good. So it is good for day 5. I'm feeling confident in my ability to finish this week as the biggest training week, and that's one of the things over the past sort of big training block, 6 to 8 weeks roughly. I've been building up week on week on week, so my body isn't just shocked. But I've not just done 100k last week and then this week I'm up 200 plus. Last week was a 200 plus week, and this week basically I'm roughly 10% more every week for the past 8 weeks, approximately, give or take a few percent. But now, like I said, time to fuel up, because remember, food is fuel. And then we're going to come back into Yam Squad HQ, set up YouTube or Netflix once again, and get on with another session on the rowing machine, nice and chilled, nice and relaxed, for day 5 of the training week. And we've made it back on the rowing machine for the second session of day 5. Fortunately, it's going to be a little bit shorter than the first session, because the first session was that little bit longer. So overall, if my calculations are correct, about 40k for today, but we still have to get it done. We've fueled up quite a bit in between first session and now the second session, and like I said before, it'll be interesting to see how I'm feeling on this erg, this workout this afternoon. It's a little bit warmer now than it was this morning, and obviously I've got about 24k in the legs, so we'll see how my legs do feel. I'm going to have another session with the monitor down, just going by mostly heart rate and mostly feel, rather than trying to chase and split unnecessarily. Just looking at getting the lower end cardio gains, especially on this whole lower intensity work that we've got going on today on day 5. Tomorrow we get some higher intensity work to do. So let's get on with the workout. And that is the 16 kilometers finished after the 24 kilometers this morning. So 40k for today. Yam, oh excuse you, cheering me on once more during this workout. And that is it for day 5 of the training week. The workout itself a little bit faster than this morning's workout. Again, feeling pretty good. Average heart rate of 123, as Yam is had enough. You had enough, Yam? So heart rate on the lower side again, and feeling good as well. Not feeling like it was not feeling like I've been overdoing it, just keeping nice and steady and feeling nice and strong. And of course, having YouTube to keep me company on these ergs. Little bit of, you can really get into a video or a series or a movie, and when you've got the intensity right, the meters can just fly by. So fingers crossed it kind of stays like that for the rest of the week. 2 days left of the training week, so let's get to day 6. And we've made it to day 6 of the training week. This weekend, both days, Saturday, Sunday, are going to be pretty big days. First session of the weekend is going to be on the water, hopefully enjoying this lovely flat glass. And we've got some pieces to do, so we're going to hopefully do them side by side with Dale. So let's get to it. And we've made it off the water. We're taking Yam out for a little bit of an adventure. Good pieces on the water with Dale, a lovely learning opportunity about rate, about speed off the start, at the finish, in the middle, and obviously just getting some hard work in as well is always fun on the water, especially when the conditions are like they are today. So now, Yam on his little adventure, and we're going to get back on the water for a more relaxed session than the first session. So let's get to it. And we've made it off the rowing machine after just topping off the mileage for the session on the water, because the schedule here at Strathclyde Park means that we have to get off the water for the first sort of session by 12:30. So we managed to fit in the 14k with pieces this morning, then 10k little paddle there, and a little 4k on the erg. So I love a little bit of quick maths, really working on my maths this week. 28k to do, so that means I've got a little bit of a shorter one to do this evening. So let's get some food, because remember, food is fuel after a really hot day here at Strathclyde Park and a lot of miles, and then get on to the next airport. And we've made it back to Yam Squad HQ to finish up today's mileage on the rowing machine for a lovely, steady, shorter workout this afternoon. We've got the fan, going to make sure that's on full blast because it has heated up quite a bit at Yam Squad HQ today, especially with the sun out. This morning I did catch quite a bit of the sun, so energy levels have felt like they've been hit quite a bit, so really going to depend on the entertainment to get me through this rowing machine workout. Let me know in the comments below what gets you through your workouts, whether it's a steady one or a really hard one or anywhere in between. For me, on a steady workout, lovely bit of YouTube or Netflix or anything just to watch and distract you and to entertain you while you're just going through the motions and looking, instead of just looking at the splits the entire time. So I'll let you know after the erg how it goes, how I'm feeling. Hopefully the energy levels don't dip too much lower. And we have finished the short, steady rowing machine workout to finish off day 6 of the training week. So 12k there, 14k this morning with pieces on the water, then 10k on the water with an additional 4k on the erg to bring us up to a total of 40k for today. The energy levels on this workout, like I said before, I was a bit worried to see if they might dip down because of it's really warm in here, plus experiencing the heat this morning on the water, experiencing the sun beating down. Yes, it's not super hot, but it can take its toll. There was no dipping of energy. My energy levels have been pretty consistent throughout the week and also throughout today as well. Just a little bit down with the feeling the heat, but then not any lower. So it's a sign to me that my recovery and my fueling is doing really well, because sometimes when you're in a big training week or a big training cycle, especially when you get to the end of that cycle, you can start to fall over a little bit if the fueling or the recovery isn't on point. So really happy with how my recovery and fueling are doing, because like I said, the energy levels are staying consistent, which means they're doing well. Now, as you might have guessed, it's on to day 7 of the training week, and unfortunately it's not going to be anything drastic for the last day of training. It's just going to be another steady day of getting the miles done for the biggest training week that I've ever done. So see you tomorrow. And we've made it to the last day of the training week, day 7, and what a great day to finish off. Amazing conditions out here. Once more, a little bit chillier with the clocks going back, so I've had to break out the Buchan splash jacket to make sure I'm nice and warm on this session. The session itself is going to be a lovely, steady one, a little bit on the longer side, and hopefully we're going to get some side-by-side paddling with Dale. So see you on the water.
And we've made it to about the middle of the session. Dale providing a great training partner today to get out with on this amazing water. Now to finish off the rest of the session on this lovely day.
And that is the last water session complete for the biggest training week I've ever had. 24k on the water in Castle Rock. Not all of it, unfortunately, with Dale, as he had a little bit of a shorter session. So, paddling by myself for the last portion. But it's always a pleasure when the conditions are like this. And now, as always, as you might have guessed, after a session, regardless of intensity or distance, it's time to fuel up, because remember, food is fuel. Then we're going to head to Yam Squad HQ for the last session of the week. And we've made it to Yam Squad HQ to get the last workout complete. So 16 kilometers on the rowing machine, nice and easy. YouTube's on the TV, and then of course Yam cheering us on to get us through. So let's get to it. And that is the final workout complete for my biggest training week ever, with a lovely 16 kilometers on the rowing machine to bring today's mileage up to 40 kilometers and to bring the overall mileage for the week to 256 kilometers. So that is my biggest training week ever, finishing off my big training cycle really well. And it's only maybe about 10 to 15k, maybe 20k more than my biggest training week ever previously. And yes, you may think, oh, it's only 10k more, it's not that much of a difference. But my previous biggest training weeks would have been done in bigger boats, for example, in an 8 or on training camp, on a big boat training camp. And if you imagine doing a 20 kilometers in a single versus 20 kilometers in an 8, you're going to spend a lot longer out on the water in a single. So not only are you spending more time working out and spending energy, but you're also getting much less time to recover between sessions and just in general throughout the day when you're in a smaller, slower moving boat. So it may only be 10 or 15k different, but actually it's more, if that makes sense. The training week overall, I'm really, really happy with. It's really just capped off the whole training cycle that I've been doing, like I've mentioned already. Yes, this was a big week, but it wasn't just all of a sudden, I think I'm going to do a massive training week. Last week was about 230k, the week before
210, 205, and then a little bit less than that the week before. So we've been building up over the weeks, and so it's not really been a drastic difference week on week. But if you look at the first week of the training cycle versus the last week, I think it's almost double the amount of mileage. So that's a massive difference. And as I've mentioned already in this video of how important fueling and recovery is, I've been really happy with how I've been fueling and been recovering throughout not just this training week, but the entire training cycle. Because for me, fueling and recovering is the easiest thing for me to do badly, if that makes sense. And it makes the biggest impact. So if I say do a bad training session or a few bad training sessions, I'm still getting the training in, but if I have a couple of days of bad fueling or bad recovery, it can throw off an entire week. So it's something I constantly have to stay on top of, and that's one of the reasons why I'm constantly saying things like food is fuel, because it is a constant reminder for myself, and hopefully a little bit of a reminder for you guys as well, that you can't just, if you are training, not necessarily maybe training 250 plus K a week, but if you're consistently training, you do have to fuel up, and that fueling level will change for everyone. So really happy with my fueling and recovery throughout this training cycle. And that will be it for this episode. Something a little bit different. The entire week of my training, taking you through the whole thing. Not really anything too exciting, not many ups or downs, but a great adventure was had, especially just the weather this week has been absolutely fantastic. We've been treated to some amazing glass to row on, especially Monday, Tuesday, and on Loch Foyle on the Scottish Loch rowing adventure. Just makes you just want to get out there and do as much mileage as you can. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of this video. It is a bit longer, so if you have stayed to this part of the video, thank you very much for watching. And training going forward will be changing quite drastically, because now I'm heading into my racing season. If you've not watched any previous videos, I will be heading to mainland Europe to race in different countries around Europe. So make sure you are subscribed so that you don't miss out on those videos. I'm going to be traveling with the ambulance, with Yam, to Italy first, and hopefully that video will be next week's video, and then we're going to be racing, and it's going to be something interesting. It's going to be an adventure, and hopefully you can all come along with me, and hopefully I will see you in one of those next episodes.